Okay, so welcome to the Legit Crypto Lounge, everyone. This is a place where we are trying to connect real people with real projects, bringing in new projects, existing projects. So today we're joined by DIVERSIFI. We've got Carlo G and JJ from the team. They're going to give us a run through of the project. So just a quick breakdown of how we're going to do things. Going to meet the team, kind of run through the token, the USPs, and the utility. Have a look at the tokenomics and the launch structure, and take a look at these guys with their future plans and how they plan it to be a success. So, Carlo G or JJ, if you want to take it away, introduce yourselves, the rest of your team members if you want to, the ones that are MIA, and tell us a little bit about your experience and what you're bringing to the project.
Okay, yeah, so about our team. So we have about 9 people on our team. Pretty much all of us are, like 35 or mid-30s, late 30s professional. And like myself personally, I was in the military for about 9 years, and then I've been doing test engineering for hardware and software for like wireless communication systems for about the past 9 years. That includes some like, project management type duties and stuff like that. We have a mechanical engineer on the team. He does most of our finance stuff. We also, different types of professionals on the team. And then also, well, I'll let Carlo introduce himself, but really, like, one thing I want to say about the team is it's really nice having 9 people on the team, because we're able to like really take up the slack for each other in the places that we're weak. So, for example, Carlo G is like very good at public speaking, where I'm very reserved. I'm a very reserved person. And then he's also good with graphic design. So having a large team is very helpful for us. Not all of us are very public. Personally, I'm not fully doxxed, so I don't mind showing my face, and I don't mind giving a little bit of background, but just because of the way my job is, I don't necessarily want to be fully doxxed because of that. Whereas Carlo is like a very public figure. You might have even seen him on TV.
Cool.
So that's a little bit of our team. Do you want to go a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'll do a little bit of background on myself as well. So I'm Carlo. I'm a partner at DIVERSIFI. I handle most of the marketing, PR, and partnerships for DIVERSIFI. A little bit about my background. I have 16 years of B2B experience, mostly in the music industry and live events. I also have been an actor, director, producer, and writer for about 18 years. And I have a very deep nonprofit background. I ran a nonprofit for 8 years, as well as I started a blog back in 2010 called Living Philanthropic. It was about daily giving. It's something that I, bring into my daily life. I have a mantra that's give every day, where I try to give back to people, whether, it's NFTs or whether it's tokens, whatever it is. I try to, donate and give as much as possible. In 2011, I started a Twitter trend called Cyber Giving Monday. That became the inspiration for Giving Tuesday in 2012, which is now a global billion-dollar day of giving, which all started from, one person with an idea. And that's kind of like where I come from in terms of how I approach any project. For me, it's all about the impact of the single person and building a community. Community building is very important to me. So, people will always come first to me. I believe in people before profits. I live by that. I rule by that. And the community will always have a voice in DIVERSIFI. And hopefully we'll have even more power in DIVERSIFI as we move forward on our roadmap. So that's a little bit about my background. I can give an overview on the project if you like, just kind of like a high level overview, and then we can get into the technicals. Unless you have questions about what?
Nothing to delve in, but so like you're saying, the community part is very important. I think in crypto, it's one of the things that makes or breaks a project sometimes. So yeah, definitely the community building aspect. I want to know a little bit more about how you guys came together as a team, because with there being 9 of you, You know how you met, like how long you've known each other?
Absolutely. So we all kind of met on, we've all been in the crypto space for various amounts of time. I bought my first Bitcoin in 2017, but we all kind of met as investors in a project, and we were not happy with how that project was managed. I mean, there's a lot of poorly managed projects, especially in the BSC space. There's a lot of poorly managed projects. There's a lot of misuse of marketing wallets. There's a lot of just straight up scams and rug pulls. And we just got tired of that. We got tired of seeing that and being part of those projects as investors, as holders, because nobody likes to be rug pulled or to be, you know, having so much faith and belief in a project only to find out that the dev is just slacking around or, misusing funds. We don't want to do that. We want to take those experiences that we've had that we hate and despise and create a project that does it the right way, that uses a marketing wallet for marketing. I mean, it's like a crazy idea, I know, but that is where I come from in my world. I have to, if I'm doing marketing for any of the other businesses that I work for or partnered with, or if I'm doing any marketing for my own personal like career, I have to spend that wallet for that marketing purposes. Otherwise, I'm not going to advance the project. I'm not going to advance the business, or I'm not going to advance whatever project I'm working on. So it's very important to us to take those experiences that we've had, those bad experiences, turn them around and create something really legitimate that, and that's kind of comes down to our core values, right? I've been trying to get this message across to a lot of folks. And for me, what it really comes down to is building a project that is stable, secure, is led with integrity and fully transparent. Like that is our goal, and that is how we are going to live and operate moving forward from our pre-sale launch all the way down our roadmap. JJ, I don't know if you wanted to add anything to that, but that's kind of where our foundation came from.
Yeah, it's good to know.
So that's basically it. Like one of the things that we're really concerned about is like how transparent we are with what we're doing, and that's one of the things. Like I'm pretty almost honest to a fault. So like people ask questions in the not Discord, in our Telegram, and they get. And if somebody asks me like where the money's going, we'll show them the paper. Like we don't care. That's where the money is. So that's one of the things that we're really trying to do, is try and be like actually honest with people. And then a little bit more about how we met. We actually kind of started as like different projects that look good to invest in. And we had successes, and we had a couple of failures and stuff like that. But we kind of just kind of stayed together. And one day we were just like, what are we doing? Why are we getting these projects that you go to their website and they look absolutely legitimate and all this other stuff, and they're rugging people for 20 grand.
Right.
It's ridiculous. And we don't want to see people do that. We don't want to see that happen to people. Like even just Sunday, we had a project using our name launch, and rugged for like, it was a honeypot for about 70 grand.
Mm-hmm.
That's heartbreaking for us.
That broke our hearts. Like I hate seeing people lose money, and I hate people taking advantage of people's dreams. Like there's these scammers out there who are just going around and we all come from different backgrounds. We all have diverse backgrounds. Everyone in our community, everyone on our team, and we come from various levels of wealth. And crypto has this potential to provide generational wealth for people if done the right way, right? But there's also a lot of bad actors in the space who are looking to capitalize on people's trust and people's dreams. And that to me is the sickening part of it. And it's one of the things that's going to be one of the biggest challenges for bringing more people into the space. I mean, there's only 3% of the population invested in crypto. But in order to tap into that 97% that is not, there's got to be a little bit more trust and integrity in the space for people to believe in projects that they can trust, that are actually legitimate and actually trying to help them, and in our case, help them diversify their crypto portfolio. Now, that's just one barrier. There are many barriers to adoption, but that's one of the ones that we feel is going to help separate us from the rest of the projects in the space.
Yeah, that's good to hear. It's a shame, isn't it? Because, like you say, sometimes people's first taste of DeFi ends up in them being burnt and they never return. And I guess it's the same sometimes as people buying into more mainstream stuff when they buy the top of something, and unfortunately they buy it at the wrong time. They get in on the FOMO and then get burnt and kind of never come back. But yeah, it's definitely a hindrance to mainstream adoption.
Yeah, so we're all in this space together, and I think it's important for us to all work together to enhance adoption. And unfortunately, you're right. We get one first impression, with a lot of these people, because trust is a very big thing. Trust is a very big thing to earn, and trust is a very big thing to keep. And hopefully, we can continue to do that here at DIVERSIFI. Yeah,
I respect those values. That's good. It's good to know. So, one of you guys want to give us the overview of DIVERSIFI then, and tell us what's going on? Just give us the 10,000 foot.
Yeah, I'll give you the 10,000 foot, and then if you want to dive into the the schematics of everything and the tokenomics, JJ is definitely the point person for that. I do know them, and I understand them. I just want to make sure that we share the load here, because we are a team. So DIVERSIFI itself, what we are going to do is we are building an ecosystem. We are building the premier rewards token ecosystem on the Binance chain and beyond. So the first step in this ecosystem is the launch of our DIVERSIFI Blue token. That's going to go pre-sale April 14th at 9:59 p.m. Eastern time, or if you like the UTC time, that's April 15th at 1:59 a.m. UTC. DIVERSIFI Blue is our blue chip rewards token. So holders of DIVERSIFI Blue will receive automated rotating rewards of Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Polygon Matic, and Avalanche AVAX. So those 5 rewards will rotate every 6 hours. It's all built into the smart contract. It's automatically distributed from the transaction fees. There is no human interaction with reward distribution whatsoever. Holders of DIVERSIFI Blue over the course of 30 hours will receive 5 reward tokens of blue chip coins. That is just the first step. We plan to release 6 coins into the ecosystem. 5 of them would be like DIVERSIFI Blue, or 4 additional ones would be like DIVERSIFI Blue, where the second one will be DIVERSIFI DEX. And those will all have their own market sectors. So you could have those 5 DIVERSIFI coins in your portfolio, or invest in whichever ones you want. And then above that will be the mothership. I like to call it the mothership because that's going to be DIVERSIFI X. DIVERSIFI X is the mothership of the DIVERSIFI ecosystem, because that rewards DIVERSIFI Blue, DIVERSIFI DEX, and DIVERSIFI 3, 4, and 5. So by the end of the roadmap, someone can come to DIVERSIFI and choose which token they would like to take part of, whether they're interested in DEX or blue chips, or if they just want to hold the mothership and receive rewards of 30 tokens underneath it every 30 hours. Like, that is an option for them. The whole goal is diversifying your crypto portfolio. We're taking a lot of our inspirations from the dividend dogs of Wall Street, of mutual funds, traditional investing strategies when it comes to building a portfolio. Blue chip, that's your lower risk investment. DEX, medium risk. We're looking at some potential higher risk options in one market sector like gaming or metaverse. And then the additional ones, we're kind of exploring the options, but we'll kind of decide on whether we want to go low risk or high risk in order to really truly diversify your portfolio over time. This project is built for the long-term holder. I mean, we want people to be with us for the long run, because we want people to invest over time and build their positions over time by having a stable, reliable, and safe and secure project that they can just set it and forget it. They don't have to worry about that portion of their portfolio. They can spend their time chasing after the moonshots if they like. They don't have to, necessarily do the research that we're doing. They can just hold and build. So that's kind of like a general overview. I mean, there's additional things on the roadmap that we're looking into, we're exploring. Partnerships is going to be huge for us. We announced a partnership with Super Oracles, which they're basically building Ethereum 4.0, and that's going to give us access to a dev toolkit. We'll be able to, explore cross-chain bridges. We'll be able to explore dApps and other utilities and roadmap items that we kind of have in our minds that we want to kind of, build and explore, especially when it comes to increasing adoption and breaking down the barriers to DeFi. We really want to get people off exchanges onto the chain and diversify their portfolio.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's given us a good 10,000 foot overview, I think. But yeah, so did you want to touch on anything with that, JJ?
Yeah, so he did really good really well on our, how our token works and what our plans are for the ecosystem. But just to add on a tiny bit onto the tail end of what he was saying was getting people off of centralized exchanges and onto the DEX, or on-chain, decentralized, and that's where the heart of crypto is. As far as I'm concerned. Not your tokens, not your wallet, not your tokens. So one of the things that is nice about what we're doing is you actually own your rewards. If you don't like of the tokens that we're you can swap it. It's not like one of these centralized diversification type things where you buy this portfolio and there's all these little pieces inside of it, but you don't have access to them. You either sell the block or you keep the block. So that's one of the nice things about us being decentralized like this is you can do what you want with your rewards. You can do what you want with, and having more than one market sector that we're going to be on, you can decide you want to put 20% in the blue chip and 40% in the DEX, or you can invest in the mothership if that's what you want to do. So it's really up to our holders what they want to do, and I want to make that clear.
Yeah, and that brings up a really good point, because the DEX token, we decided to go with, there's many reasons why we decided to do diversified DEX as the next token. That's going to reward Cake, Uni, Bake, BuySwap, and 1inch. And the reason why we chose those for the rewards tokens is because the holders could then decide if they want to stake those tokens natively with those DEXs. So it gives them another option for staking. And also, we will have two staking pools at launch for Diversified Blue. The one thing that I like to point out when it comes to our staking platform is that while you do stake, you're going to be earning Diversified Blue, but you are still receiving the 5 underlying reward distributions while you're staked. That's something that you don't necessarily see in a lot of staking platforms. You'll have to manually claim them because that's just the way it goes when you're staked, but you're still going to receive the same rewards as if those Diversified Blue tokens were in your wallet. If you have them staked, you're just increasing your position on Diversified Blue and on your rewards.
Yeah, awesome. So just get this right. So you can stake Diversified Blue to get more Diversified Blue. While doing so, you can still get the 5 rewards of Blue, and and you just have to manually claim them. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Because it's just for the gas fee, and it's just in BSC it's relatively minuscule.
Yeah, I like it. So one of the things I picked up on was how you guys plan to, bring more people into DeFi. So with that said, we know DeFi is not the easiest to navigate. So have you guys got any plans lined up to bring them over, and to make it easy, easy to understand?
That is going to be the goal of any project in this space, in the DeFi space. We have very big, lofty goals, but we also have some plans. And one of those things that we're going to be rolling out post public launch is we will be doing a YouTube video series called Diversified Learning. This will be a free, non-ad supported, no paid promotion series of videos that is going to be about educating people about the DeFi space, setting up a MetaMask wallet, how to get BNB, how to use Pancake Swap and PooCoin, getting over the laugh factor of PooCoin and using that as a legitimate swapping tool. Those things like that, and other things as well within the space. So, learning is going to be a big part of that. Now, there's another portion to that. The partnerships that we're building are going to be very crucial to our roadmap, and any utilities and apps that we're able to release, over the course of the DIVERSIFI roadmap that could improve adoption and break down those high barriers of entry when it comes to accessing DeFi. We truly want to be the future of DeFi, and to do so, we're going to have to explore all avenues when it comes to adoption and it comes to accessibility, because everybody should have the option to invest how they see fit and to explore the crypto market, especially with their own ownership over the tokens and over the coins. JJ brought this up in a meeting previously. He says that, like, we don't necessarily we're looking for people who are interested in building their portfolios and investing over time. If you only have $20 a week, this is a great option to look into, because you could then build your portfolio over time. And that just called to mind for me my mother. Like, I grew up in a low income household, 5 siblings. We lived in a 1-bedroom apartment for most of our lives, always struggling to get by. And for me, those opportunities, those sacrifices that my mother made in order for me to have an opportunity to succeed in this world, I am truly grateful, and my gratitude comes out in my giving. And I want people to have that opportunity to be able to, from wherever they are, whatever background they have, whatever capabilities they have, I want them to be able to build their wealth over time, and to do so on a safe and legitimate project. So there's a lot of things that we're doing behind the scenes. Partnerships are going to be huge. Development is going to be huge. I'm hoping to increase those partnerships. I've got meetings with a lot of VCs for private investments. I've got meetings with I've got so many meetings on my calendar. It's so funny, but I've got meetings with friends of mine who are in the music industry. One that is a producer who's worked with Selena Gomez and Demi Lovato and the Jonas Brothers. Another one who does live events, and they are, they have a very wide crypto following, but they're more on the music side of things. But it's going to be those aspects that are going to move DeFi and also move DIVERSIFI.
Yeah, awesome. So this is just one more question related to this. Have you looked at any competitors that have done a similar thing? There's 2 that spring to mind for me personally. And what did you take from them? And what did you think they kind of went wrong, or what you could improve on?
So I think from what I saw as far as competitors go, so there is so there's 2 different types of competitors. There's the one that does they change it's a rewards token that changes their rewards, and then there's the other one that kind of works more similarly to a mutual fund, where they have like a almost like a DAO that holds like a bunch of different assets, and the holder doesn't actually own those assets. They own like a right to the assets in there. So we're very different from that. We're not a DAO where the DAO holds the assets. So I did a bit of research. I may not have found everything, but as far as the ones that change reward tokens, from what I could tell looking at the contract code, it was all manual. So somebody had to go in and change the reward token, every week, or the community would do a vote and they would change it. So like Farmer Doge in particular, which we really like that project. But it's very different from us, because they use one reward token and they change it based on a community vote, I think monthly. So those types of projects are what I've seen. I've not seen anything that automatically has like a set rotation of, 5 top 20 market cap tokens. So that's one of the things that really kind of sets us apart technologically. And honestly, it kind of started as an experiment for me. It was like, can a token do this? Can a contract do this in an automated fashion? Turns out we deployed the contract, and tokens are rotating. So all we have to do now is add liquidity and start, and the rewards will start flowing. So
Awesome.
that's really the two market competitors. The other market competitor who kind of is more of an ecosystem level type of thing would be fan token. And the funny thing is we started development on this project before ETH fan token burn, I believe it's called, came out, where they reward their other token.
Right.
But so it's similar, but the ETH fan token ecosystem is really they're just getting you like Ethereum. Whereas what we're trying to do is we want to have this one token. If you want to invest in this one token, you will get 30 tokens in a fully diversified crypto portfolio.
So I've just got one question based on that. When you start releasing these other tokens in the ecosystem, are you going to do that as a fresh launch, or is it going to be any advantage to being an existing holder of the previous token?
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we're working on right now. Is we're definitely very, very interested in doing airdrops. Now, how we do them is one of the things that we're looking at, and also how much, because I mean that's kind of a big thing. Giving free tokens to random people. I mean, what do you do with free money usually? So that's kind of one of the hard things that we have to come down on. But we're very interested in airdropping and rewarding people. So one of the things that we're thinking about doing is like an NFT mint, and having like NFT giveaway contests, and then for a certain amount of them, and then buys for minting fees for the rest of them. That's one of the things that we're looking at. So that we're looking. Bottom line is we're looking at airdropping and rewarding, our supporters.
Right, and it'll come down to whether we're going to do it for early holders or for holders of a certain period of time will receive access to an airdrop, or holders that also hold an NFT. There's a lot of options that are on the table, and we're going to go and analyze all of those options and choose the one that's going to be best fit to make it as fair as possible for all the future token launches.
Yeah, so I say that's one of the things is you can use it to reward the people who supported your project, who haven't been, perhaps they've been holding well, but you don't want to put off potential new investors, by rewarding the same people in the ecosystem. So basically making the rich become richer, and the new people don't feel like it's a nice entrance for them. So yeah, it's a fine line. So I was just intrigued to see what you were going to do there.
Oh
yeah, it's definitely a fine line.
That might be something we can combine techniques, but also just like a random pick of holder wallets, like for a certain percentage of it.
Yeah, and we can build a
Actually,
I'm sorry, I'll stop talking.
Write that down.
Choi, write that down. Reach out to Super Oracles about their RNG so that we can create a random generated selector to choose wallets to airdrop to. Yeah, let's just get that on the. This is kind of a little bit how we work. You're getting insight behind the scenes. We have internal meetings where we kind of talk and discuss about trending topics, different ideas, things that are happening in the space. So that because we want to be as informed as possible when it comes to building this project, and also what people are interested in, what people are investing in. That's also very important to us. So we are very fluid, and we are very open with our ideas, and we also are very open with anything that we want additional input on. We go to the community for a poll. So the community is going to have a very important part of our decision-making process, especially when it comes down to those difficult decisions, because we don't want to do it alone and force people into it. We want to make sure that people are happy with us, and we want to hear the community's voice, because the community is important to this project.
Yeah, awesome. So yes, definitely a good way to go in crypto. We all know you have to adapt and overcome. So, ever changing all the time. Discussions are good. They're healthy. So it's good to hear. Mark, do you want to pick up anything at this point before we move on to the tokenomics?
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask on whether you're concerned about dilution once you, you launch these other tokens, and whether people are going to, jump ship and move on to your next token because they know there's going to be some launch hype. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so that's actually something that we're very concerned about. And for what we're doing with this token, as far as like rewards dilution goes, in particular, is we put it up to a community vote as to what the minimum holding should be. So the community voted it. It actually turned out a bit higher than I liked, but the community voted on like a $300 threshold, which will be it'll be $300, and I'll change the threshold to match the market cap, at least weekly. So that's the one thing. And then as far as releasing future tokens, that's something a lot of it's going to come down to timing. And you kind of want, what my thought process on it is, what do they call it, consumer exhaustion. And that's when, if you put out too many products too close to each other, at some point, in this case, they're going to have to sell the old product to get the new product, or their wallet's going to be like their fiat wallet's going to start hurting it. So that's definitely one thing that we're really concerned about. One of the things that we're looking at for doing that is actually conducting fair launches for the rest of them. Well, semi-fair launches, because I don't think you can call it a fair launch if you're doing airdrops necessarily, but it'll be like the airdrop and then a fair launch style launch. So that way, and generally what we try to do, what we're doing with this token, what we're going to do with the rest of the tokens, is try to keep the initial market cap fairly low so people can build a position without necessarily putting in a ton of money. So there are a couple ways that we can deal with that. It's something that's really like weighing heavily on my mind, though.
Yeah, and there's additional things that we're doing with our partners, with Brew Labs and with Cookie Sale. There are some anti-sniper protocols that we have in place that we'll be sharing a little bit closer to public launch to hopefully combat some bot activity when it comes to trying to manipulate the market. There's additional things that we and a lot of what I think that is going to benefit the project is, as JJ said, is how we time it out, and also hopefully over time people will really realize that it's not a great strategy for investing to abandon an investment to invest in another project. Jumping from project to project, especially in spaces where there are transaction fees, day trading is not a good idea. And it just is not. And I'm not giving financial advice. I'm just saying it's very difficult on a transaction fee token to day trade unless you have some kind of insight into what's going on. Now, that being said, I think there's ways for us to, with education and also with brand awareness. Brand awareness, we want to expand our reach beyond just our community, because if the community grows to the extent that we believe it can, there's always going to be new people coming in to diversify. That is our ultimate goal. So while it is possible that we might see some hyperlinear growth, that's not necessarily what we're building. We're building for linear growth, right? We want linear growth over time, and this is a long-term project for us. We're not looking for pump and dumps. We're looking for consistent, constant growth of community and holders. And the only way we're going to do that is through education, product releases, marketing, and brand awareness. One of the partnerships that I have developed for our team, we have a partnership with a marketing agency that has worked with companies like Verizon and Ticketmaster. They are our partners for the next 90 days to provide marketing workshops, help us to hone our core messaging, our core values, so that we can be congruent across all social media platforms when it comes to how we are spreading our brand and how we are spreading our message. So I think it's going to be one of those very exciting times for people who are in right now to see where we are at in 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now.
Yeah, awesome. Does that answer your question, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just want to touch on the going back to the original token that you're creating. So the first one, so DIVERSIFI Blue. Am I right in thinking? So it's every 30 hours you'll receive one of 5. So is that every 6 hours you'll receive the first one, then the next?
Yeah. So every 6 hours. So 9 a.m. you'll receive Bitcoin. 6 hours later it's Ethereum. 6 hours later it's Polkadot, and then the rotation randomizes. So at 9 a.m. the next day you're receiving AVAX. 6 hours later it's Bitcoin. We're kind of mixing up when we are actually acquiring the rewards tokens, because price varies based on volatility, and we want to give buying one position at one time, like if you're just going to throw like $100 into Bitcoin at 9 a.m., you might miss a dip. So I think our smart contract with its automated rotating rewards is done in a way so by randomizing it, we can take advantage of price changes throughout the day based on whatever token we are rewarding at that time.
Right, and the other, the token. What happens is the token changes every 6 hours. So you'll actually, the rewards is actually based on how much volume has happened. So the contract actually accrues, a certain amount of tokens, and then once those tokens meet that threshold, it'll start sending out rewards. So you'll actually, depending on how high volume is, you'll actually get rewards more often than 6 hours. It's just if you get, 2 rewards in the same 6 hour block, it's going to be both AVAX, and then the next 6 hour blocks different. So I don't want people to get, the wrong idea that they're going to get rewards every 6 hours. It's going to be throughout the day, and then on the other side of that coin, if volume is actually very low and we don't meet that threshold for 6 hours, then you might miss that token in the rotation. But this is another thing that actually goes back to the randomization is, certain parts of the day you get low volumes. We won't necessarily have the same token at that low volume portion of the day every day. So it really should smooth out these like time domain inconsistencies.
Yep, makes sense.
Yeah, that kind of just answered my next question as well. Obviously, because if you're holding a small bag and you're only getting small rewards, it's not worth sending for gas fees. So again, I guess that pot just builds up until there's enough in that pot, and then it's sent to you, right? How much testing have you done on this contract, guys? Have you run it through testnet and stuff?
So Brew Labs, our contract developer, actually tested it on chain. They had to go through, I want to say 10 contracts.
Yeah.
For testing, just because as far as we know, something like this hasn't really been done before, and so they tested it fairly thoroughly. And they told me it works. And if it doesn't, then obviously we'll have to like do a V2 or figure out how to.
You so Brew Labs were your contract developer, weren't they?
Yes, sir.
And you've Spywolf did your audit,
yeah.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Brew Labs is going to give us an audit too, and this kind of goes to also our transparency type thing, because the business that I'm in, trust is very important, and conflicts of interest are very important. So we could have gotten a free audit from Brew Labs, and we still will, but we decided to get a third-party audit also, so that the conflict of interest.
Yeah, I agree with that. We've just seen another project recently who's had the same contract developer and auditor, and actually they had 2 auditors, but both of them missed it, and poor guys have suffered from it. But yeah, so
I will say that I went through the contract also.
yeah,
And you don't have to trust me or anything, but I went through it also. I write code. I'm not a Solidity developer, but I can read it, and I didn't see anything. I did send the contract back like twice, because there were a couple of things in there that I didn't like. But we went last time we got it back. It looked fine to me. What if that means anything to anybody?
no, yeah, that's just cool. Another set of eyes is always good, right?
Yeah.
So listen, guys, I'm conscious of time. We've been chatting 45 minutes already about the token, and there's still a bit to run through. So we'll run through this. We'll try and keep it a little bit brief. But your tokenomics, do you want to just explain why you've chosen these, the options for that, what you've done?
Okay, so for fees, what we have is oh crap. Yeah,
I've got them up on the screen if you can see it.
Yeah, I just had to zoom in on it. Okay, so I do know what they are, but it looks fuzzy, and I was like, oh, is it incorrect on the website? No, so 3% to liquidity pool, 3% to marketing, and 8% to rewards for now. So we want, one of the things that we want is 3% to liquidity is, that's just kind of stabilize things over the long term. We really want to try to maintain 20% liquidity as much as possible. And really, as time goes on, what we really want to do is increase the liquidity quite a bit to stabilize the even further. So that's our thoughts on liquidity. Marketing, 3%. Marketing is going to be huge. And here, one thing about marketing is we don't have our tokens in the marketing wallet, period. There never will be. We've seen too many times where people have their own tokens in the marketing wallet, and they need to pay for something, and they dump the chart because that's what they have to do, or they don't want to use the rewards that those tokens have generated, or it's not enough. So marketing 3%, that should give us a pretty good padding, and obviously we'll have to be very smart about how we spend it, and save up for those times when we might not have a lot of volume and have a hold back a little bit on that. And then rewards, that's that goes to the holders, and we want to reward the holders. One other thing that is in our contract is a buyback and burn. We haven't implemented it yet, but at some point we are planning to. As time goes on, one of the things that we want to do is, as we get more tokens, is we want to reduce that marketing fee down and use the marketing from all of the tokens to advertise DIVERSIFI as a whole. So we should be doing pretty well there, and we should be able to scale back the marketing fee and maybe put that into more rewards, put it into buyback and burn, or whatever we need to do with it. So the tokenomics, any questions on that?
No, not really. Just other than, have you thought about how you're going to do your structure for your other tokens yet? Are you going to play that by ear, depending on how this goes?
So the fee structure is going to be very similar.
Okay, yeah.
Be the same. The tokenomics for the other tokens may vary slightly, so we'll go over the tokenomics, and but the other tokens we may not do a pre-sale. We'll probably have, or we probably won't do a pre-sale. We'll probably private sale. Sorry. We probably won't do a private sale. We'll have an amount of airdrop that'll probably be less than what our private sale was on Diversify Blue. So that's one of the major changes that you'll see in the next tokens. So can move on to tokenomics. Sorry, it's I'm not in a hurry, but I know you guys need to keep a schedule.
No, it's to be honest with you, normally we're not very rushed. We've just got another one booked in tonight, but we've got a bit of time, but I don't want to rush the giveaways and stuff as well. But
yeah, for sure.
So if you want to just go through your distribution.
Okay.
Want to run through that?
So I'm sorry, I'm looking at.
Yeah, I can go with. Yeah. So you guys have had a private sale, right?
We had a private sale of 17.5% of the supply. It was about 30 BNB. Those were known holders in the space. We kept that to a very small threshold of what they could contribute, and also kind of spread it out across as many people as possible, so that we don't have any big volume in one wallet, and we don't get any big drops. These are all known holders. We needed to do a private just to get operational expenses going and paid for, and then that way we can get the launch of the pre-sale. For pre-sale, we have 37.5% dedicated to that. JJ, do you want to take over on that? I think.
Yeah. So the 37.5% pre-sale, it's going to be, what's pretty standard all around. It's 60% of the funds from the pre-sale are going to get paired for liquidity, and then around 10. So we have our out-of-pocket costs. So around I think 10 to 15% or something like that is going to defray some of those costs that we incurred initially. And then the rest of it, so 60, so 20, I can't do math right now, 20, 25, 30% is going to go into straight into the marketing wallet for marketing.
So, regarding your private sale, what was the discounted price on that? How many tokens did they get?
So the discounted price on the private sale was 50%.
50.
50. Yes.
Okay.
And they were limited to buy basically 0.5% of the supply was the limit. So there aren't any people with 1% of the supply or more at this point in time.
Okay. Is there any vesting period on that, or is that completely unvested?
No, it's unvested, but we know a lot of these people from other projects, and a lot of them are freaking diamond handers. We've seen some of these people going down with sinking ships.
We've been right along there with them, too, on that sinking ship, to be honest. And I'll also say this, it would be, I'm hoping that what I'm doing for this project in terms of our transparency and trying to really build this out, these folks are in the community with us, and they are, I consider them as part of the team. So if they believe in me and continue to believe in me, I'm hoping that they'll be with me for the long term, because I think that's going to be really, truly important that those folks from the private sale, I consider them a partner in my eyes. So hopefully that they'll see what I'm doing. I'm actively sharing all the meetings that I'm having and really trying to build this project. And it's hopefully that they will at some point vest in me, because I will take care of them.
I hope you're right with that. Obviously, it's a common thing we see in here. 50% is quite a large discount, if I'm honest. But it's something we always have a token come through that says, "Yeah, we've picked these people. They're going to hold," and then some of them get slippery hands. But
if any of those slippery hands want to reach out to me, I will buy your stake and I will burn it. So before you sell, reach out to me.
What was the decision for this 50% discount? Why so significant?
Basically, just risk. That's most of it. And also, we were very early in the planning when we did this. We might have done it differently if we were where we are now. But yeah, it was mostly just risk, and also the amount of funds that we had to raise, the amount of people that we had available to raise with. So there were a couple of different variables, and that's what we came up with.
Okay. So how much are you trying to raise at your pre-sale, and what's the price of that? Is that the same price as the launch price?
No, pre-sale is going to be a 10% discount, and we're the hard cap is 167 BNB, so we're expecting to release it around 200K market cap, depending on the price of BNB at that point in time.
Yeah. And so how much can people buy at pre-sale? Is that 0.5? Sorry, no.
I think it's
Okay.
about 0.44.
0.44%. And what's the largest contribution?
2 BNB.
2 BNB.
Yep. So we really want to try and spread it out as much as possible. So we don't have like a super, actually, I think 2 to 3 BNB is pretty standard these days. And then also one of the things I'm going to do is I've been requested to redo our pre-sale listing. So I'm actually going to decrease the minimum buy to 0.1 BNB.
Okay. And how many people do you plan on whitelisting for it?
So we're whitelisting around 100 people, or we're planning to. But we've also done some we sent out a survey asking how many people are or what people who are whitelisted are going to buy, and we're not expecting the hard cap to fill from whitelist. We are expecting for the pre-sale to go public. After like 10 minutes, I'm going to set it to public.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a good strategy because sometimes oversubscribe it can frustrate people, and still leaving a bit of room for people to get in and give them a chance is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
I guess it just depends on how people contribute, whether they go for the max or not, doesn't it?
Yeah, and
if they forget, if they forget to set their timer, or if they decide not to, there's the potential. We set it to 100 whitelist spots because we know that some people will say that they want one, don't use it, or they will contribute less than what they said, so that we give a little bit of flexibility. We want to have availability for public during the pre-sale.
Yeah, awesome. Mark, do you want to pick up on anything so far?
Just a question from the community, from Crypto Crazy. Is there going to be a cap on the max wallet somebody can hold?
Yeah, so for right now, we've decided on a 2% cap. Obviously, that's not going to stop anybody from buying more than 2 or holding more than 2%. But we've kind of we kind of looked around a bit, and we kind of decided that people having more than 2% is not. It's a double-edged sword, basically, and it's not really something that we want to necessarily have to deal with. And we want to have, we want to have availability for a large amount of people, and not just have everything concentrated with a couple of people. So, and as time goes on, as market cap increases, that 2% cap isn't going to matter as much because it'll cost more money to reach that 2% than most people are going to invest, other than whales or whatever. So that's kind of what we decided on, and later on down the road it might go away, who knows. But just for now, that's what we're doing.
Cool. Listen, just touch on these the things highlighted by Spywolf. I'm guessing this is to do with your anti-bot.
Yep, that's our anti-bot. It goes up to 30%. Obviously, it's a public function, so the owner can set the fees to 30% at any point in time. I'm just going to tell you, I'm not interested in doing that crap. I want to deal with the contract as little as absolutely possible. Plus, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of feels like scammy to me. I don't like that.
No, yeah, it's some good features to have. Like, listen, if the team was not doxed, and or you're all kind of anonymous, then some of this would be concerning. But the reality of it is, some of it is good. Being able to blacklist wallets, say someone gets scammed, you can help them out if you're quick enough to react on it. And I've seen that work in the past. And these are all things that can help you. And obviously, the disabled trading can help if you've got problems with your contract. So on that note, how long are you planning to lock your LP for?
5 years.
LP, we're planning to lock for 5 years. So there is a bit of an issue with our pre-launch pad. So what they do is they automatically lock it in a time lock. But what we're going to do, and this is another one of the things that I need to change about the pre-sale, is we're going to lock with Brew Labs.
Uh-huh.
So that way, it's with Brew Labs, it's not it's a time lock, but Brew Labs is a trusted third party, and if we do have to do a V2, they will be able to transfer the LP to the new contract or to the new AMM. So
that's good to know.
That's what we're going to do, because if you know, some of the stuff that we're doing on the future are a little bit unexplored, so we're not quite sure how things need to be. So right now we have our contract one way, but we may really need to change it, you know, 6 months down the line when we you know, do one of our larger items.
Yeah, can I make a suggestion about the 5-year lock? It's too long, like, because I know why people do it. They do it because, you know, it shows a good faith. But you've also got to remember how the kind of DeFi changes, and that, like, when we've seen Pancake Swap V2, a lot of V1 projects got burned by that. They couldn't, you know, when you were trying to buy a V2, when you were trying to buy a V1 project, you could only buy it through V1, and everyone who went through came up with a warning, like, you know, don't buy this. This is an old version. But the only way for them to buy it was through V1. So a lot of them projects suffered, you know, with some serious kind of entries for new players. But I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Everrise, but it might be something that a feature for you guys to consider, with you being quite community focused. They do like an Everlock, where you can lock the LP and the community can vote to unlock it. You know, it might be something useful to you there. But yeah, 5 years is a long time, and I know why people say they want to do that, but it's because of bad people in this space that you're forced to do actions like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's just my kind of say on that.
We'll take that
under suggestion. Yeah.
I'll talk to Brew Labs and see what they have to say about it, and because they just started like their LP locker, I believe. I mean, they've been doing it for a while, but it's now more public. With what
you see, I'm not too familiar with Brew Labs yet. We've had a lot of projects coming through that've been using their services and stuff, so we're talking to them a little bit at the minute. But yeah, they might even, you know, have a backdoor to the LP to move it if necessary. So I don't know if that's the case. Then that wouldn't be an issue, would it?
Yeah, that's how it is. It's basically they're a trusted third party, so they can unlock for things like a V2, or, you know, if Pancake Swap goes to V3. Are they on V3 already? V3. You know, so it's not unreachable. It's just that, you know, we do have to jump through a couple of hoops in order to get that unlocked. And you know, it's not just us saying, oh, well, we need the money, we need the LP for this, and then, you know, running away with it. There's actually somebody that we have to go to who's a trusted party.
Yeah, and it's in the best interest of the community if you have access to that at times when you need it, you know.
Let's be completely transparent with the community if that were to ever happen.
Yeah, good. So with there being 9 of you on the team, have you got any multi-sigs in place, or you know, contracts? Who's got access to the contracts?
So I'm the only one with access to the contract, and then Carlo and one of our marketing team members has access to the marketing wallet.
Okay.
So yeah, basically I can be the single point failure on this, I guess.
It has good and bad things though, because you got to consider, God forbid something happens to you, what happens then?
So one of the good things is it's pretty much all automated. So as long as the marketing wallet doesn't go away, something happened to both Carlo and somebody else. I mean, I don't mind giving another team member access. I think nobody actually wanted it when I asked.
Yeah, who wants it?
It's a big responsibility. It's a big responsibility. And Matthew, myself, I trust Matthew. He is like a kindred spirit to me. And you know, I trust myself. I hope a lot of people trust me as well. But I have no interest in running off with a marketing wallet. I I myself personally am diversified across multiple crypto investments, real estate investments, standard stock market investments. Like, I have no interest in running away with a couple grand. What I'm here, and my interest and my focus is providing a space that is safe and secure, and building a project with integrity and honesty to help promote adoption in the space.
Yeah, no, that's cool. It's not really
but I hear you, man.
an issue of trust. It's just a kind of an issue of what if, you know.
If I get tomorrow.
But yeah, yes, it's again something to think about, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
We'll put something in your will, JJ. Your last testament. There will be a locker with a combination lock, and we'll have to do a national treasure type excursion. We'll bring the whole community along, and I'll be Nicolas Cage.
That sounds good.
Okay.
I'll come along.
All right, great.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, guys.
So, is there anything else that you guys really need to hit on?
Just following up on that multi-sig thing, I understand that for Certic you do need a multi-sig function, so that might be something to look at.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I can't remember what it was. I might be confused here, but there was something about where you're not supposed to use multi-sigs. Maybe that's the LP wallet. You're not supposed to use a multi-sig. I can't remember. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'll look into also.
We'll just touch on one more thing, guys, that we haven't really hit on yet. What's your marketing plans? How are you going to make this blow up?
Yeah, so that's my world. That is going to be a mix of traditional marketing strategies as well as crypto strategies. There's going to be a lot of thought. We're going to be very prudent about how we spend the marketing budget, but we're also going to spend, and that's going to be, the standard things that you see in the community, ads on, KuCoin and CoinSniper and all those sites. But we're also going to mix in other things. Articles are going to be very important to us across all the different media sources. We've already had some press releases. We've already had some articles go out. We've been on Market Watch already. We've been on DCS News. We've been on Bazinga. We're pursuing podcast interviews. We're pursuing podcast advertisements. We're talking to influencers in the space and key opinion leaders. That is going to be one of those things that we have to be very smart about, because there is a lot of money flowing into the space, but we have to be very cognizant of how we spend, because we want to get the most eyes and the most ears and the most hearts for our project. There are other traditional methods that we're exploring as well. The marketing partnership that I developed with a friend of mine is going to help us along the way. And we're also going to go into the real world. I mean, I think in order for us to get our name out there, we have to start attending these events that are happening. I've submitted to be a speaker at Consensus 2022 in Austin, Texas, which is hosted by CoinDesk, but has a ton of big name speakers. I mean, CZ from Binance is going to be there. Edward Snowden. Look at the list. There's a huge list. So I've applied for to be a speaker. We're also going to look in other sponsorship opportunities at these live events as the marketing wallet can support, and really get our message out there, get our brand awareness out there, and really try to bring people into this space.
Yeah, and we're also looking at, one of the things with Carlos Music Connections is like doing small sponsorships at music festivals and concerts and stuff like that, where we can afford it. So that's kind of like getting eyes on different people that aren't just walking under a billboard in New York City like some people do. Kind of hitting some of these smaller target markets, and also other things that we're targeting is also trying to catch the eyes of traditional investors and bring them into the space.
One of the biggest things that I think, where I come from, there's the idea of perceived value, and then there's the idea of actual value when it comes to your marketing spend. what is actually generating interest, what is actually generating new holders and investments. That's actual value. What is perceived value? Perceived value are things that people see that says, oh, wow, they're spending marketing money. Like that is perceived value, but it's not necessarily driving adoption. It's not driving new holders. It's not driving community. So we're very focused on taking a little bit of the perceived value, but really focusing the dollars on the actual value. So that's where the true kind of straddling the line between traditional marketing tactics and crypto strategies.
Nice. All right, guys, listen, we're going to end the recording shortly and then we'll take some questions from the community. But before we do that, we've got the killer question that we like to ask in Legit Crypto Lounge. And that question is, at which point does this project become a success to you?
So when it becomes a success to me is when we execute our roadmap and finish something that isn't on our roadmap, which is a management DAO, and give the contracts over to our holders. That's the success for me.
Yeah.
And I would like to piggyback off that. I mean, it will be a very joyous day for us, for JJ and myself included, and most of the team, is that day when we do have the DAO, all the contracts are bulletproof. They're working the way we want them to work in the community we want them to work. We renounce our ownership over to the DAO, and the community then has ownership through voting to make any changes to the contracts down the line. Like that is the ultimate goal. We want to really completely make this a community token. Side goal, I would love to have at least one celebrity be a DIVERSIFI holder. And I'm going to try to make that happen because, you know, honestly, they have a large voice and then a large reach, but also they lend a certain amount of credibility to what you're doing. If you can get somebody who actually is not paid, but just invests in the project because they see the value and they see the hard work. That would be my secondary goal.
Awesome. That's good to hear. So before we just finish up then, guys, do you want to have any closing statements?
No, I think I'm good. I just want, you know, for closing statements, I just want to tell everybody to be safe out there. You know, it's the Wild West. You know, always verify what contract you're swapping, and just, you know, take care of yourselves.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I think
that's nice.
Yeah, definitely be safe. And if you have any questions, you know, obviously do your own research. This is not financial advice. But if you have any questions, join our community, ask us a question. You can send me a DM. I won't send you a DM and I won't ask you for any money. So please don't send any money to any wallets that come from me. There's a lot of fakes out there, especially on Telegram. But yeah, if you have any questions, happy to welcome you into the community. You know, we have a really diverse community and we want to keep it that way and continue to grow that with people of every background, regardless of, you know, race, creed, you know, gender, or anything. Like, we want it to be a truly diverse community for a truly diverse portfolio.
That's great, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. It's been a good AMA. We've enjoyed it. And yeah, so we'll finish up the recording and take some questions from the community, if that's all right, while we set up the giveaways. So thanks, guys.
Thank you.